Put this book
Good
behind me.
afternoon, this is Bolo, and welcome to my show on Tempo Africa TV. And today we are trying to get different topics, and the topic that we're going to be doing the next few shows is going to be thriving in America. And thriving in America is not just going to be Senegalese, but we'll have other Africans, we'll have people from other countries and people from here that we're going to be inviting to share stories about how they thrive in this country. And this month is, I can say it's still Mother's Day month. So our first topic, one from Senegal and the other one from Cameroon, so they can share with us how they thrive here in America and how they were able to raise their amazing kids that are doing so well in school and other things that we are all very proud of in our community. I'm gonna go around and have them introduce themselves. I have Daba. Daba, please, you gonna introduce yourself. Daba is a very good friend of mine and also a very dedicated woman who I share a platform on the Senegalese ladies in the United States, USA. Admins that I work with over there, and she is always dedicated into helping our members get information about immigration that is useful to them. Daba.
Alors, bonsoir. Je vais commencer à dire bonsoir en français. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here tonight with you guys. And Bolo, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm a little sad and a little nervous because my daughter Sokhna was supposed to be here with us tonight, but unfortunately she excused herself. She couldn't make it. But I'm here tonight. And I'm very happy to be here and be able to talk about our journey. So thank you so much, Bolo. And as you say, we are together in Senegalese aux États-Unis in Facebook. And as you say, you are a very good friend of mine, and I'm very happy to be in your show tonight. Thank you, Bolo.
Thank you so much, Daba. And as you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, I'll be sharing the screen on my Facebook and sharing with you all so that friends also can watch. They have been waiting for us to start. We'll go down to Brian Wara. And Brian is, he'll introduce himself. He's just somebody that not only people from the community from here, but all around the world are proud of him for everything that he's achieved at his age. Brian, I'll have you introduce yourself.
So I'm Brian, and to get down.
Oh, you talking to me? Okay, I thought you were talking to Brian. All right, Brian, you can keep going. Thank you.
Yes. So my name is Brian. I'm a college student, second year, studying biology, pre-medicine, and I also play college basketball. And outside of that, I have a nonprofit foundation with the focus being providing resources for women who are working independently, single mothers, who are bringing up children, as well as resources for children who are being brought up by women who are working independently as well. So,
thank you, Brian. That's great. And Brian, did you mention you're a student athlete and who did very well with for your team basketball and also the first Black valedictorian at your school on your graduation?
yes, for high school.
Proud of you. And we'll move on. Thank you. Elsie?
I'm so sorry, my connection is so poor out here, but I'll try my best. My name is Elsingwa. I am Brian's mother, and I'm a professional. I'm a student, and I am an entrepreneur. I am so delighted for this opportunity. We feel very humbled. Brian, as you all know, was the first Black valedictorian at his high school after 92 years. And one thing that we really want to do is reach out to as many parents, especially single mothers, to try to motivate them, inspire them, and educate them how they can raise their kids to be successful in this fast-paced system. You know, raising a child in America is one thing, but raising a child to be successful is another thing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And you did it well, and we are proud of you. Thank you. And Daba, can you introduce Sokhna? We were supposed to have Daba's daughter, Sokhna. Unfortunately, the date was mixed up and Sokhna wasn't able to be with us. Daba, please.
Yes, when I finished talking, I realized that I didn't even introduce Sokhna.
It's okay.
Because I was like, oh, she's here, she's going to talk about herself, but no, she's not. Sokhna is 19. She's my beautiful and lovely daughter. She is a student in Howard University in Washington, D.C., and she is majoring in criminology, and she is planning to do law school and specialize either on immigration law or what else? Oh, okay. But immigration law is her favorite. Yeah, she's gonna be a junior, and she is very excited about law school.
Yes, and we are all proud of Sokhna as well. I see her how hard she works, and I when I visited you in New York, I saw Sokhna didn't care what's going on around her. She was always on her books, reading and studying, and she's very involved in a lot of social justice stuff, and she just makes me think of future Michelle Obama.
Thank you.
Inshallah, we'll get there. So I'm so proud of her and you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm just so honored and pleased to have you all here with me. And the reason why I chose this topic and to talk to you all, it's, you know, my shows are about pretty much everything that can be uplifting and wellness, and also something that addresses social issues and social justice that we go through in this country. So it's a broad, we go broad spectrum. The reason why I started here today is that we go through a lot of challenges here when you transplant from your country, living culture and everything that you know, and coming here without mom or dad or anything and thriving, and then having a kid, and Elsie, in your case, being a single mom, not having help, and with everything that could happen with Black kids here in the United States, if you are in New York and, you know, all of those areas, if you are able and have them be successful academically and not being in trouble and getting to college, I think that's something that to celebrate, that's something to share, so that it can inspire others, so that it can give hope. So thank you for being here. And I wanted to ask you moms, Daba, I'll start with you. When did you come in the US and how, and just tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, I came here in the US accidentally. I will call it that way because I used to come before and visit my sister who lived in Denver, and she always told me, "Oh, stay." I'm like, "No, I'm not staying. I have a stable job back home. I'm happy. Thank you." So I used to come and go back, but then when I get married, I fall in love. And my husband was established in New York. And I get married, and I came and I moved to New York, and I have my two beautiful kids. I have a brother, a bigger brother, and He's graduating next week also. So I had two on my plate, and they are 4 years apart. High school was, elementary school was challenging for me, not with Sohna, because Sohna has been always the type, like when I go to parent-teacher conference, they tell me, oh, what you doing here? But for my son, it was like, oh my God, he's so distracted. And I was like, how I can have both of them, and they so like, I mean, Mahmoud was not, that bad. He loved to read. He makes Sohna love reading. Yeah, coming from there, I'm like, okay, we're gonna just complete each other. Nobody's perfect, and that was not a big complaint about Mahmoud being distracted, because he loved to draw and color and stuff, and he will hide his paper under the table and drawing, and he will draw the teacher himself, draw the classmate himself, because he was very good at that. And one thing that I regret that is like I cut that from him. And we're not here for Mahmoud tonight. We're here for Sohna. But yeah,
it's okay.
She learned a lot from his brother, from reading and being focused on her studies. Sohna was the type, I never come and check on her homework. She always on top of it. It was the opposite. I will come and tell him, shut your books and go sleep. He will stay awake all night doing homework. So
I swear, Sohna just reminded me of myself. When I saw her in New York, I'm not as smart as she is.
Yes.
But that's how much I loved school. My mom and grandma used to drag me to come and eat, or to come and go to bed, because I wanted to study for the test or whatever. Right. When I came in New York, saw her just sitting one place, I'm like, oh my gosh, she just reminded me of myself. And she's so tiny, and I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't do anything, and Sohna was doing the same thing. Sure. But yeah, if kids are different, and you see Mahmoud is graduating, you said in a week, so he was fine, he was okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. Thank you so much, Daba. And Elsie, tell us about when did you come here, why, and how did you realize that Brian is just some bright kid?
Oh, so I've been here for a minute. Brian was born here. Actually, I am so sorry. There's a lot of noise in my background.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. I am.
You're muted, Elsie.
You're on mute.
Okay, it looks like we lost Elsie. Brian, can you talk to us about yourself, and how do you see yourself growing up, and when did you realize that, you know what, I am different? Brian, can you hear us?
Yes.
When did you just realize that you are very different?
One moment, please.
All right, it looks like they're having a little bit of bad connection. Daba, so back to you. Tell us about Sohna and you mentioned how she was and very straightforward doing her things, and how was she? Was she like some kind of go out to play, or like just like you see the young generation right now, don't listen to their parents, or they may just like want to do a different upbringing or lifestyle. Like here, kids are given more authority or more freedom to talk to their parents in a certain way, as opposed to back at home. What is the difference on your experience?
Yeah, I will say it's a little. It has been a challenge, because from me being raised in Senegal, being raised by Senegalese and dad and mom, and I had a different education, and when I have my kids, I was like, I'm going to educate my kids the same way I've been educated. But then on the long road, I realized that it couldn't be, because we are in two different environments. But still, I wanted to keep a little bit that education that I have. And so I had to make the balance between the two. And for that, I couldn't do it by myself. It has been a talk between me and my kids. And that talk come from my own experience. I had to explain to them that, okay, this is the way I have been raised. I know that you're not seeing this around you with your classmates, your friends and stuff. Like, let's say I'm going to give you an example. One of my child came home, and then we were talking, and then and they said, "Oh my God, you're lying," and that was a big deal. We were like, "What?" Me and my husband, we were like, "You can't say that." He was shocked. He was like, "I just said you're lying. What's the problem?" So that was one example, yes. And then we talked about it and explained, and they understand this. I said, from our culture, like, if you tell your parents you're lying, it's like an insult. You can't do that. So it's one example, and it's a lot of different things that we had to adjust and explain in between to make them understand, and then keep going on the education where we want to go with it. Mm-hmm. So it's just to summarize that if you, as us, the position where we are, we have to cooperate with the kids to make it happen.
Right. That's very true. Yes, I experienced. Say to my parents, and it's hard to find a fine line, because you want the child to be able to express themselves, you want them to be able to defend themselves, but then culturally appropriate for us. Thank you, Daba, for sharing that. And Elsie, I hope that you have a little bit of better connection now. We'll get back to you. Talking about, you were talking about when Brian was born here, and I wanted to know, when did you realize that Brian is really a different kid in a good way, like special, gifted?
Okay, let me take it back. Your first question was when I came here and what prompted me. If I can.
Yes.
Is that
yes,
what you? Okay.
Yes.
So actually, I came here for educational purposes. I come from a very educational focused background. In my household back home, it was all about education. My dad was director of prisons. My mom was a teacher. And she was a teacher for like 30 years before she retired. So I actually left university and I came here to go to medical school. But fortunately, I had Brian. So I had to raise Brian by myself. So I didn't go that route. But I went the nursing route. Mm-hmm. And fast forward, when I was raising Brian, I was trying to train Brian the way I was brought up back home, with focus on education. And my dad was also into sports a lot. So sport was also one of the aspects that I regarded as being very important in a child's life. And being a single mother, you got to incorporate these kids, get them very active and involved in so many activities. So we tried everything, like Brian said. We kind of tried every sport. Brian was into taekwondo, soccer, baseball, you can name it all. But around the age of 7, I realized that he was more into basketball. He had more talents in basketball. So I kind of pushed him towards basketball. I kept telling him, you have to limit all these other sports and try to focus on one. Mm-hmm. So it was around that age of 7. But prior to that, educational-wise, he's been a gifted child. I mean, I just say it's a blessing from God. He's been very gifted, but that does not go without saying. I also put in a lot of effort and a lot of work. From the age of, when Brian was in kindergarten, we got into the habit of getting up every day at 4 a.m. and reading and studying. And after school, we got into the habit of going to the library. From that age until, I think, almost high school, So even at the age of 10, Brian could read 5 books in a minute. He was already that gifted. And it was all because of the effort that we put in. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, okay. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Okay. And yes, and I like when you said that you introduced Brian to so many sports. I did. And unfortunately, sometimes as Africans, when we are here, we just focus on one thing, which is education. Education. We don't introduce the kids to sport. A friend of mine, Huja, also her son is very very talented in soccer. But usually we just tend to focus on education, and adding the sports is also a very good skill. It's intelligence, it's skill, and it's very good for. And you never know, many kids could be doing a lot of great things, but they never get introduced to. Right. And I'm glad Brian was introduced to different things, and he chose what he was able to do. Right. And I know that he not only he did something that he liked to do, but he did it really well. I don't remember, Brian. Can you tell us about it? It looks like you guys won the championship or something. I can't remember what your team did because you were like the star in it too. And can you tell us about that, Brian?
Yes. So my team, basically, we had made it to the conference tournament. We had made that. That's been a goal for our program for a couple of years now. I'd probably say 4, 5, 6 years. Unfortunately, we had a lot of triumphs, ups and downs, faced a lot of good competition. But yeah, this year, it was a blessing to have made it that far. We upset some really good teams. I didn't really expect us to come in, play the way we did, and we ended up winning the conference tournament in the first time in our school's history. So that was really amazing. It was an experience that I'm really grateful for, and that's basically what happened.
Yes, that's very good. And on that note, Brian, can you tell us about yourself in school? How were you doing? What motivated you and what helped you do well in school?
I'd probably say, for one, it definitely comes from just who I was at the core. So I think the parents have like a really big role in developing our core values and things like that. So that's definitely just something I always, in my mind, I knew was top priority. But when I started playing sports, just the whole student athlete thing, and looking at other athletes that inspire me and motivate me, it's just like they say, like how you do one thing is how you need to approach everything. So and it'll make you better on the court as well, or it'll make you better in your sport as well by really diving into your academics and getting what you need to get done in the classroom. So the way I looked at it was like, okay, if I can be the best version of myself in the classroom, it'll also translate on my sport. So.
Or vice versa. Sometimes kids who do very well in sport tend to be focused and doing well in academics. And did you have any experience at school? Because I know most of the time some Black boys in school have had time with teachers, especially if it is a Caucasian teacher. There's studies that show like that fear of of the Black man, and then the Black boys may feel unheard or unsupported. Did you have any kind of experience that way, or did you have a positive experience that you can share?
I think I definitely would say I just used to ask a lot of questions. When I didn't understand something. And it's just kind of just being, trying to think of the right word.
You're polite for sure.
Moving past that fear, because a lot of people, they kind of fear to, stop the class, ask a question, to get a better grasp of a certain concept that's being taught. So I just made that something that I would really focus on doing. If I didn't understand something, I have to get it at that moment. And I think that did well terms of my relationships with my professors and my teachers as well. And then in addition to that, you can go to them before school or after school. And that's basically what I did. If I felt any type of negativism from any other people, it would probably be like in class. Some kids are just like, oh my gosh, like, can you hurry up? Or like, outside of that, it's just like, everything went smoothly for me in my experience.
Good. Yeah. Positive environment, and you being brave enough to say, hey, if I have a question, I'm going to ask and get the answer right then. And that's different than a lot of kids are afraid to ask questions. I know my daughter is very shy, and she sometimes won't ask questions for the teacher, but it's very good to know that it's okay to ask questions when you need the answers, and it just makes you better. Thank you so much. Daba, do you have anything? I know Sohna is not here. Anything that you know Sohna would do that you want to share with us?
I know that there's one thing that made me very proud, and I think I share it with you, Bolo. That was like when Sohna was in high school, and this gave me the opportunity for us to talk about violence, gun violence, which is a very, very, very hard topic that we all have in heart with everything that's going on in the US and around us. And Sohna worked on with the Trace Brooklyn young violence reporter. She worked very hard on that. She did researches, and she contacted people that have been subject of violence, and they wrote a lot of subject. I can't explain it very well, but I know that that's something that she worked on very hard for over a year. And after that, she have been invited on a TV show where she had to, they pick her out of, there were over 400 students that were working on the project. And they picked Sohna because of her dedication on the subject and how she worked so hard on it. And she talked about how she had in heart that, and how that writing helped put on exactly to pop up the subject and make it a thing that can be how to call. I lost my word.
Useful and
exactly.
Yeah, I know we were all proud of her when she appeared on TV, one of the TV channels, discussing the topic. And
yeah, and the bad thing is she will come home sometimes from that and crying because she will talk to people that will tell her how they suffer from violence and all that, and that will affect her. I was like, Sohna, maybe you need therapy. You will need therapy after this. And she said, I won't need it, mommy, because these people suffering so much that I can't handle myself. And that made me more prouder of her for what she was doing.
She's very sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yes, and you are a great mom, helping guide her and protecting her from suffering from those emotions too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Daba. Yeah. Yes. And Elsie, can you tell us what made you proud of Brian, and also what were your challenges here raising him as a single mom?
Well, I've always been proud of Brian, but in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. Meanwhile, in this fast-paced country, it's kind of individualistic. So, as a single mother, it could be challenging, it could be tough, especially when you're all by yourself. And I think Brian kind of emulated a lot of what I was doing. I've always been in school, partly to encourage him too. And we used to study together. We he used to help me even to type some of my school works. So I think that also motivated him. Seeing his mother working hard and studying, he also gave him that zeal, that motivation. But ever since Brian was in first grade, he's always had awards. Awards. Like I said before, raising a child is one thing, but raising a successful child, a child that earns awards, makes history, not only academically, athletically. I mean, it will make any mother proud. It will make any parent proud. So he's always been that child. I don't know if it's because of the struggles that he saw me going through, the challenges that we went through, that also gave him that push. But what really, really made me so proud of Brian was when he earned that valedictorian award. That award came prior to that award. We had gone through so many trials and tribulations. You know, you don't even have an idea. But people that know us, they know what we went through. So for Brian to come out successful, it was something that it was all God's doing. I'm telling you. Prior to that, we're almost homeless. I mean, like almost homeless. And this child still kept pushing. I don't even know what I can say. All I can say, I just give all glory to God. I don't know how that happened, but I just give all glory to God.
Well, that's you're very modest. It's good to give glory to God, yes, and also recognize that you did a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Brian, anything you need to add to that? And also, you said you're doing pre-med. Why did you choose pre-med? And are you try? I mean,
I think the connection cut off. Can you repeat that again?
Okay, sorry. I think I have a lot of questions. So what your mom just said, if there is anything that you wanted to add as for what helped you through, but I think you answered part of that earlier. But I also wanted to know, why did you choose pre-med, like medical school, and also why are you thinking about? You should unmute yourself too, Brian.
Okay. Well, to answer the question as to why I chose the major I chose, I've always been surrounded by medicine. It's something that is very common in my family, with my mom being, doing what she does in the medical field, her brothers, uncles, aunties, different people like that. But then you also combine that with just, my passion to help other people. And you combine that with basically just, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting like a bunch of signals popping up on the screen, like switch to audio only, poor connection.
It's okay. You're good.
Okay, no problem. But yeah, in combination with that, like with the specific field that I'm going into, the specialty that most interests me has to do with just the musculoskeletal system, so just bones, ligaments, tendons, stuff like that. Which
that's sports medicine.
Basically, sports medicine. Exactly. So sports medicine, rehabilitation, stuff like that. Just I'm just so into just the process of helping people improve to get full functioning.
Does that make sense?
And very good pick for major. We need way more doctors who look like you for the health equity, to help with our health equity. Brian, are you able to answer the other question? Are you gonna try NBA?
The goal is definitely to take my athletics as far as I can possibly go. So
All right.
God's grace, if that's where God wants me to go, if that's the lead that God wants me to play at.
Looking forward to seeing you in that court soon. Continue on. Today is actually Bolas Bari Baro the Crims last year. So it was just something that I did that I like to do at home, and I shared with friends and they liked it, and everybody voted that if I made it into a business, they'll buy it, and that's what happened. And since last year, I've had so many customers, and I sold a lot of Bari Baros, and the most exciting thing about it and the most important thing for me about the Bari Baro is that 10% of it is going towards Tellal Africa, the nonprofit organization that I created in Senegal to help with women and children's health in Senegal. So far, Bolos Bari Baro has donated over just because you guys bought the creams and were supportive to me. And today also is the anniversary of me making the lilac Bari Baro. And it's so funny, and because I'm making it today also as a special for anybody who's interested. So please visit Bolos Bari Baro on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'll be happy to help you, and thank you for the support. All right, so we're gonna go back to Daba. Daba, what advice would you give to moms that are raising kids here that are, I don't know, either single, whatever it is, what advice would you give the mom, especially people who are from different cultures, and it's very hard to raise your kid here when, like you said, it's different than how you were raised?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Bolo. I'm glad you specify, like saying raising the kids as a single mom or with two parents. I will feel like I raised my kids as a single mom because I have been involved on all aspects on the kids' curriculum and more than I will not say that my husband didn't get involved, but like he's the type, he will say, oh my God, I don't know anything about it, go see your mom. Because I took it from, on my heart, and I was like, it was my challenge, like being with them and educating them on the path of bringing the best of themselves. I never get involved on their choices of measuring. They did their own choice, and I approve it and I support them. Even sometimes they, like after a year, Sofna didn't change her major, but I had the experience with my son. We changed his major one time, and he was like, "Oh, mommy, I'm so sorry." I said, "You don't need to apologize. You know what? Do what you feel like doing. If you're not happy with this major, switch your major. Do whatever you're comfortable with." And I think it's important that we let the kids be and don't try to force them to do what you feel like you want. I want my son to be a pilot or an engineer or whatever. Let them be. I think that's the first thing that I have to tell all the parents. It makes it easy for you and for them, and then just support them. Let them talk to you when they feel like talking. Listen to them. And give them advice, and after the advice, tell them you don't have to do it. I'm just telling you, stuff like that. Make it the easiest way it can be, because school is very hard. It's a lot of stress, so don't add on it. you have, as a parent, you have to be where they will run if when they feel tired, or they feel like talking, or they feel like, I need to be relaxed. So yes, that's how I did it, and I think it works.
Thank you. It's kind of like what you described is more kind of like a matriarchic parenting, household where you're the mom, the backbone, and I know your husband is very loving and supportive too, and providing. So it's not single mom, but
Yes.
you just mean that you're the one who's more like involved and
Absolutely.
and he just
Yes.
let you
No,
take the lead.
absolutely. He's been here.
Yes.
He's been around, but he's been like, oh, mommy know better. Mommy is like more. I will go to any activities with them. I will, for example, my son used to love reading, as Elsie said about Brian. My son he will read books and books and books and books all day. I'm gonna give you an example. Like when he was on junior high school, I will take my son with me to work, and there was a bookstore who was next to my job, and he would say, "Mommy, pack me lunch and drop me to the bookstore and pick me up after work."
Aww.
That means he will stay at the bookstore all day. When I say my break and I come and I tell him, "Mama, come take a break with me," he'll be like, "Let me finish this book." He will just sit on the floor on the bookstore, surrounded with book and his lunch pack sitting there. And I would say, "Did you eat your lunch?" He said, "Oh no, I forgot." He will forget about eating and everything. And at 5:30, when I come back and tell him, "Okay, let's go home," he wouldn't want to go. He would be like, "Can I have another 30 minutes?" I'm like, "Is this boy okay?" So yeah, those are things that
his mom is from a educator mom, so it's
exactly,
understandable.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
How about you, Elsie? What do you think? What would you tell moms that that are struggling, or single moms, or what would you tell them?
First of all, I always say there's this saying in the Bible, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will never depart from it. So you got to inculcate those core values, those principles that are very vital in a child's life from their tender age. And another thing, when you create an emotional stable home, a godly home, I think that plays a great role also. Me, for once, I refuse to raise my son in an emotional or psychological abusive environment. I always try, like a lot of single mothers, I understand you have to date, you have to do things, but for me in particular, my son was my priority. I was in a doctorate program. I had to put all of that on hold, especially when I realized that he was talented in basketball, and it paid off. Now I don't have to worry about college tuition. So you have to prioritize what is important to you. Is it I'm not saying people should be single, but I'm just saying you have to prioritize what is important. It's either your kids or a man or job or whatever. We have to work. I understand that. But when my son was in high school, my job, I used to work part-time. We used to live basically, like a basic life. Just what could give us a roof over our head, put a food on the table, and now I can work all I want. He's in college, tuition free. So what I can tell single parents, yes, I understand marriage is important, but do you want to raise your child in an abusive environment? Because that's what I refuse. I refuse to raise my son in an abusive and emotionally unstable environment.
Yeah, that's a great advice, and as hard as it is for in some situation for people to live,
Right.
it's also very important to have a healthy environment for the kids to
Very
grow
important.
and be able to flourish.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
well, where's Brian? Brian, is Brian still around?
Yeah, Brad is here.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, Brian, one question before we end. Being the first valedictorian in your school, Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What is the experience like to be the first valedictorian in your school over 7 years or 9 years prior? I can't remember what year, how many years, but what was that experience like, and what did you gain from that?
Uh, well, it was the 92 years since the establishment of my school when I had gotten that achievement or that award.
And
So
which school is that?
that's Purcell Marion High School. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really my aim coming into school to achieve that. It was really just coming in with the core values that I already had and just to focus on doing the best that I possibly can do in the classroom. But when the time came, or when it was nearing that time to where that award of who was going to be the valedictorian was going to be given to somebody, and I found out that it was going to be me, and I found out the history behind it. It was just kind of amazing, and it was like, wow, like the things that really, the things that God can do for somebody. They just, have faith, persevere, and for me, I was just gonna look. I looked at it as a way to kind of digress from just like, oh, I did this and I did that. It was more like, how am I going to use this to inspire the next kid or inspire the next person?
Absolutely.
So that they can use that story and take it with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So.
Right. And it sounds like you had some scholarships. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So a lot of academic scholarships from a lot of different universities, a lot of HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, and a lot of other nice high academic private schools and stuff like that. And I did have a scholarship prior to graduating high school. It's called the Roger Staubach Student Athlete Leadership Scholarship, and it was just basically a scholarship that was awarded to a student voted on by all the teachers in the school, like who just exemplifies like leadership in the classroom and in athletics. So that was definitely something that I was really humbled to have awarded to me, because it kind of just it makes me just understand that just staying true to myself, being humble, and just trying to be a leader and a good example for those around me it's been noticed. And to get recognized for that scholarship is really big, especially during a difficult time for my mom and I. It was just like it could take the financial load off of her shoulders. So that was really big. And then outside of that, the school that I'm at now, just to also have an opportunity to have everything covered academically, and then also with the help of athletics. But that was also something that was very humbling as well. So
that's very great. That's really great. Yeah, your mom's work paid off by you being a successful student and get all these scholarships. Now she doesn't have to worry about paying for college. Bravo, Brian. Good job.
Thank you.
And Bolo,
kids that are listening to you. Yes.
There's one thing I want to add on. I mean, this doesn't apply to anybody, but being a single mother, one of the things that I really prioritized was sending my child to a Christian institution, and I think that really helped with some of the values that helped to inculcate a lot of values into him. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Yes, we're hearing you. Yeah.
Yes. So pretty much Brian has been in a private institution from first grade up to high school. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't apply to everybody. But I'm just saying that helped me a lot.
Yes. Like the guidance, the faith, and
exactly,
and yeah, the discipline and all of that. Exactly. Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Yes. Thank you,
You're
Elsie.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, Brian, did you we wanted to hear from you. What advice would you give to the young kids that may be looking up to you?
So advice would you give to the young kids that are looking up to you?
Technical difficulty on that end. Dabab, while we're waiting for Brian, tell us one more thing about Sokhna before we.
Yeah, I mean, I just sent on your phone some notes that Sokhna wanted to share and in the show. I don't know if you see it.
Okay, I'll check. Yes, I'll check and keep going. I'll read them probably for our audience to hear.
Okay. So what was the question again, Bolo?
Please resend it. I didn't see it. Oh. But the question was what do you think?
On your WhatsApp.
Okay. The question was what do you think Sokhna will tell the people, or what else did you want to talk about Sokhna, or what would you think she will tell the young people that are looking after her? I mean, looking up to her.
I think these would have been Sokhna's word for the people, the other kids looking up at her. Mm-hmm. She will say, listen to your parents, because they are the first that can motivate you. Mm-hmm. And be aware of what you have in heart of doing, and that will lead you to success.
Great. So I have answers from Sokhna here to the questions that I was asking. Malik, if we can have a picture of Sokhna on the screen, I'll just read them quickly. So to what motivate you? Sokhna said, my parents and my older brother motivate me to succeed. She said, at a young age, they taught her the importance of education and creativity, which are essential to lead or fulfilling professional life. Also, Sokhna said, what was her inspiration? She said she was interested in the prison industrial complex and prison reform, which is great choice, Sokhna. We need that. She said, I know a lot of individuals personally who have been abused by the criminal justice system. I want to help improve the conditions, which also is something that's really needed. Yeah. She chose the major because she wants to focus on the studies of crime in society and delinquent behavior. She's also interested in pursuing a career in criminal law and criminology and focus on that. And in 10 to 20 years, in 5 to 10 years, she sees herself in a prestigious law firm as a judge. I believe that can happen, and I can't wait to see it, Sokhna. Brave girl. She said when she first came here in the United States, she struggled to adjust to school. See, Sokhna didn't start school here.
Because Sokhna was born here, but then she went back to Senegal for kindergarten, for preschool, and she came back to start kindergarten. Mm-hmm. So when she came back, she was just speaking French, and by the time she arrived, it was 3 months prior to school to start, and then she struggled a little bit, and mm-hmm. they put her on a special program for not speaking English, but she just stayed there for 3 months, and they told me, what your daughter is doing here? I say, she don't speak English. I say, no, she does. So they switched her right away on a regular program. So yeah.
Oh, this breaks my heart. Her next question, she said she had a lot of negative experience. She was bullied in school. She couldn't make friends, but her teachers were nice, and few made effort to make her feel more comfortable in a new environment, and she became more confident and accustomed to school in the United States over time. So yes, when a kid is bullied, it can affect their mental status, their mental well-being and emotional and academic success.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids.
Bolo, what I wanted to mention about that bullying thing, I experienced it with my 2 kids, and I will say I had to buy books that helped me beat that challenge. because I was noticing that whenever I was telling the kids, do you want me to come to school and talk to your principal or your teacher? They will say, no, thank you, mommy, don't come. And that's very bad. I'm telling parents to look on that aspect, because it's a way for them to try to show their peers that they're strong and they can fix the problem by themselves, which is not the case generally. So definitely, as parents, we have to get involved. Not 100%, but we have to step in and support them when they bully. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, we can't just have them fight that fight on their own, because it's way more than that.
Yes.
It can affect them for life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Daba, for that addition. Yes, yeah, that was a thing for her. But look at you, Sokhna, where you are right now. All those bullies are going to see you. Yeah. You probably will be a judge, and judging one of them going to jail. So who knows? Bullies can go to jail. So
yeah, bullies can go to jail.
Anyways, Sokhna says what she's doing to inspire young kids is that she's tutoring a group of 7th grader virtually, and she's preparing the specialized high school's admission tests, SHAT. Also, she's also helping with middle school test and in New York, and she's considered also to take the eight best high school cities. What did she say? Which is a test middle school students in New York take for consideration into 8 best high school in the cities.
Yes.
That's very, very, very nice. Very nice of you.
Yeah. So she's doing the tutoring every Saturday morning. She dedicated for that every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the kids that need help.
Good for her. She's already giving back, and Brian is giving back to. He has his non-profit organization that he helps back in Africa. And of course, the apples don't fall far away from the trees. So their moms are also very dedicated in helping the community. Daba has a non-profit organization, Sutura, that helps women in Senegal, women's health. And Elsie also has a non-profit that's the same exact, helping women and children in Cameroon. So very good, great parents and great kids, and
for Sutura as well, Sokhna is our digital editor. She is responsible for the layout of content on the non-profit organization website. She assists for the regional partner in the translations and document from French to English and Wolof.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, so I think we are out of time now. We're going to wrap up soon. I just want to go around and please just tell me one last thing, and I would say thank you so much for being here today and for the inspiration that you've given to anybody that's listening. Daba, what Elsie, you're muted. If you're saying something, you're muted. Elsie.
Oh, I was going to say the last thing that I want to tell parents in particular, you have to get involved in your kids' activities. It's a must. It's not an option. It's a must. Especially if your kids are involved in sports, you have to be there. It has to be. You have to actually attend sport activities, get connected with the coaches, get acquainted with the coaches and the team players.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. I mean, that helped my son tremendously. Just me having a rapport with the coach, having a rapport with his teammates, even the peer pressure was taken off of him just by me having that relationship with the teammates and the team parents.
Yep,
so it's very important.
He has a very strong mama behind him. I've seen your journey. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Daba, anything else? And
my last word will be, as an African Senegalese mother, I wish I can see our kids as Africans succeed in the US, because we smart, we have the good education that we can give our kids to reach that goal. So as Elsie said, mothers have to get involved to reach to that.
So, and fathers too.
And fathers too. Yes, not parents actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, it's very important to be involved in your kids' activities, and sometimes that's what we don't understand as Africans. In Senegal, some people may just say, "Oh yeah, you just go play." They don't know the importance of it or what goodness can come from it. Thinking it's just a play. A play can give somebody a successful life, like scholarships, and maybe also they can be disciplined and gain a lot of personal skills from it. So whatever your child is involved in, it's very good to monitor and be involved in it. And that's what I admire here about American parents. People are always running around. Today you have soccer, tomorrow you have this, you have that. It's worth it. It's worth it, and not only moms but dads too. Everybody should be involved, and it takes the team to be successful. Not everybody is like Elsie doing everything by themselves. So, and Daba, thank you for being a great educator, mom, and a backbone for the family and a matriarch. And thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your témoignages and your stories. Daba, thank you. I tell Sohna I'm sorry she couldn't be here, and thank you for her to send her.
And I want to take the opportunity also to tell Elsie and Brian that I'm very happy to know them through you and the show. And Brian, I'm very, very, very proud of you. I'm beyond proud. And congratulations, Elsie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yes. And Brian, I had the pleasure to watch your mom's posts about you. Every time I get so excited and proud to see that. I've shared a lot of your successful stories on my page as well. We are all proud of you. In Africa, they say when a child is bad, they're only their mom's child, right? Because everybody blames the mom and say it's not mine, it's hers. But then when the child is successful and good, it's the whole village child. So Brian, you are the whole village child, and blessings on you, and congratulations, and good luck, and continue the good discipline that you have, that you can inspire other kids, hopefully, and help.
Thank you so much.
Elsie, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a strong mom and a backbone, and for sacrificing all of your desires in life to focus on your son, and you see how it paid off. And I hope that it will pay off for all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to our wonderful producer, Malik, thank you so much. And thank you for watching Tempo TV. Until we see you next time.
Thank you.
Have a good day, all.
Thank you.